Well, hello and welcome to Jim's Arcade. Hey, today we're going to show you a game called Eastern Front. This would be the 1941 version, where you start out with a 120-point deficit. Each one of the Russian armies that you face are only worth about a half-point apiece, and the Russian cities are only worth between 3 and 5 points, and 10 points for Moscow. The game is set up basically for you to lose. It's kind of I don't know why they did that, and if you read the instruction guide it says, do you think it's unjust, unfair, stupid to play a game that you cannot possibly win? If you realize that, then you know the reasons that the Germans could never win on the Eastern Front. That's not exactly what it says. I could give you the quote out of the instruction guide because I still have it. But this game was really set up so you can't win. I mean, you have 47 units. The Russians have 127. You suffer terrible problems during winter and the rainy season. The Russians don't suffer at all. So here we're going to go ahead and show you how everything's set up. Here's the first thing we're going to start out is with the Finns. Now the Finns never get into the action. In the instruction guide it tells you if you take Leningrad, right here, then the Finns will be activated, and you can use them in an offensive mode. Okay, they're initially set up so they will only play defense, just defend. That's it. They can move around, they can defend, but they cannot actually go into a combat mode unless you take Leningrad. I found that if you do take Leningrad, they still don't work, so you're down 2 offensive units there. And in the actual lineup, we go through the actual German army here, because this is how it was set up. You can see the Russians here, just outside of Moscow. This is Moscow, this is Minsk. Moscow's back here. I think that would be Moscow there. There we go, there's Moscow. So, hang on for a second. A bug in my throat. Sorry about that, I got a terrible cold. Oh, man, see. Anyway, Moscow is pretty far from the fight, and the Russian army has something like 52 reserve armies on top of what you see here. They're set up with the 7th Tank Army up north. You, on the other hand, have pretty good units, pretty nice, 194 combat and muster. But what happens here, though, is you make a lot of progress during the opening stages of the game. You knock out a lot of Russians, you gain a lot of territory. But when Old Man Winter kicks in, and the rainy season and all that firsthand, your units start to fall apart. You have no reinforcements at all. You get no reserves. So what you see is what you get. The Russians, on the other hand, like I said, they have 52 reserve armies, and a lot of them are twice to 3 times the size of anything you see on the screen now. So what you're going to end up with is a German army that's pretty much pushed through this area here, and is overextended and weakened, and then the weather tears it apart, and then the reserve Russians roll in, and you're finally just annihilated by sheer weight of numbers. Okay, that's what's going to happen to you here if you play the game according to all the rules in the book. And I played it many times and lost many times. I started to think, hey, they're right. There's no way to win this game. It's impossible. So I was playing a lot on the 1942 level too, which is even harder than this. I'll show you that in just a second. So what we have here, like I said, we do have these units right here. These do give the Germans an edge. They reinforce any unit that you put into an attack mode or assault mode. Assault mode is kind of, I don't like assault mode because it gets you in trouble. Your units will hit very hard, but they also will suffer a lot of casualties, so I never use it. At any rate, the closer you are, but it's kind of in assault mode. Well, this is kind of funny. I just talk about assault, how it gets you hurt, but not for the air units, only for the ground units. The air unit has to be in assault mode for its air power to work. Now, how this works is the closer you are to the unit that you want to attack. Say you want to use this unit here to attack, so you can have this guy in standard mode. You push him forward to attack. And now he would be attacking the Russian 3rd Infantry Army. So what we're going to do here is I'll show you how this works. We'll just do a quick test. We're going to push him forward, and forward. Now, the closer you are, if he was only 1 square away, he would get the full 219 points. But since he's 4 squares away, or 5, the assault points will be reduced accordingly by about 20, 30, 40, 50%. I think it's 10 or 20% up to 8 squares. I forget exactly how it works, but the farther away you are, the weaker the air power will get. So we're going to add this guy here. And then we're going to do this. This is something I learned a while ago. To put him in assault mode, which you can add air to air, and this should make the ground unit much stronger. So we'll add him here, and this one there, and this one here, and that one there. And then we'll add this air power to this unit. And we're going to go ahead and start the game here to show you how this works. We're not going to go through the hassle of setting up all the units and actually playing the game from the 1941 level. We're just showing you here how the game opens, how it looks, how it's set up, and then how you're supposed to lose. And we're going to show you this little trick here to see if this works. So here we go. See what I mean? Just with that much air power, it just slams right through stuff. So there we are. Okay, I'll be back in just a second. Okay, we're back. Hey, where'd everybody go, you say? Well, they're all gone. All destroyed, all lost. Actually, no, what we've done is we've gone to the 1942 level. And what we're going to see here is how the German army has been dispersed and spread out all over the map. So let's go up to the top here, where those Finnish units are, and take a look. Okay, here's the same two Finns. Now you can see here, Russians in Leningrad. There's a few units here now. These guys are surrounded. Look at that, by a lot of bad guys. And it looks like, with the exception of just a couple of units, here's an armor unit there, and of course the air units. But look at they've been reduced. See, the muster strength is way down now. And 47 Panzer is down to 108. Wow. And 46 is at 131. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take a look at the map. Now, you can see a solid line of purple Russian units all over heck here. Look at that. Okay, there's Moscow. There should be a town around here someplace. Anyway, oh yeah, I think we're in it. There it is, Rezyev. Okay, we're in control of Rezyev, but you can see the German army is completely spread out, almost completely committed, with only a couple of reserves here and there. Now, here's Stalingrad, and you can see the Germans have been pushed back from Stalingrad all the way to here. And there's an impasse down here. You'll never, ever, ever take this place. Rather, this one right here. This is, what is that? Sevastopol. So it just seems like you have enough numbers here to do it, but it's almost impossible to take these two Russian units out. So here you have it. You can see the German army is completely committed here, and everywhere you look, it's outnumbered. Outnumbered everywhere. And, of course, the Russian reinforcements will start the very next turn. They will start piling on again. Here you go. There'll be 52 reserve armies to face this now depleted German army. So that's where the 1942 level gets really kind of, they figured, well, you're done here, man. Gotcha. You are so badly outnumbered and so stretched that how could the German army ever recover from this? And on top of that, there's another Russian army about to show up in pieces that's going to outweigh and outnumber everything here on the board. Those great big guards armored units are going to start showing up, and man, they are big. Big, bad, and tough. Bigger than this thing by a clip. So, what do? You're completely committed. You can't fall back, or the Russians will simply run you over. And eventually, by weight of numbers, they're going to start to just simply wear you down and kick you out of these positions. And then start to push you back no matter what you do. And here, your tank units are committed, see? They're committed, touchy Russian units. So what do you do? I mean, you've only got a couple of units here that aren't committed on the other side of this river. And if you pull them back, these units will drop down and smash these guys. So how do you get out of this, man? It's a real trick. So what we'll do is we'll show you something that I did here. I'd played this one here maybe 100 times or more. It seems like that many times. And each time, nothing worked. It just, all the tactics and strategies I would try would fail and the Russians, the winter would roll in, bad weather and all that, and your units would be chopped in about half or so for their combat effectiveness, and then the Russian reserves would show up and just smash the heck out of you. And you would eventually have to start retreating here, all the way back across this river, back you go, until you get pushed into the swamp, and you lose all the territory you once had. All this stuff down here will eventually just start to get ripped to bits from sheer weight of numbers, because this is the shortest distance from here to here, and that's where the Russian reserves will start to concentrate, and that's how you lose. So what I did, I remember I was much younger then. I had played the game several times and lost, like I said. And I was just kind of half awake and half asleep, and I started thinking, the Russians don't move on turn one. So what? You have one turn, big deal. But you know what? In that one turn, I suddenly seen something. I seen a formation, a way, a maneuver that I could execute, and I could rearrange the entire German army, or most of it, where I could do something with the units here that are completely committed. I could draw them out of the lines and then still reform the line and hold it without the Russians smashing through and killing me. So I'll go ahead and show you the rest of that. And what happened here is, the only reason I'm putting this vid up right now is because I was screwing around with it yesterday while I was playing World of Tanks. In between battles, I'd go back to this screen here and play a little bit of Eastern Front just for fun. And you can hear some commentary from my guys in World of Tanks every now and then. They override what I'm doing here, but it doesn't interfere with the game. But it just seemed like I wanted to do this again, just to see if I could. I don't know. Anyway, I'll be right back in just a second. Distraction. Fucking idiot. Fucking idiot. Yeah, wow. At any rate, you can see where we're up. I'm sorry, I had some commentary there. And there's Moscow. You can see what we're going to do here. We're going to fill this whole area. We're going to fill this whole area open here. We're going to push straight up. Lock all these guys in place, and then kill all of them. Destroy every unit here. And then take Leningrad. And we'll take Moscow. And we'll straighten the line up from here all the way up to here. And then we'll do that all with just infantry. We'll pull all the tanks out, and we'll place them all around here. And we'll wait for winter to pass, and for the lion's share of the Russian army to show up. You can see a bunch of it back here, starting to up here. And yeah, let's see, here we are. You can see some more units that are crossing in here. They've showed up. There's nothing up there. And they'll get more and more of them every turn, and they become larger and larger. Some of them are big guard armies, and they're huge. And you can see by looking at all of our stuff, we're moderate. Most of our units are moderate. This is, of course, after the defeat at Stalingrad over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to, like I said, we're going to straighten the line up, pull all the tanks out, and a lot of the infantry too. And then we'll destroy everything here, which you see on the screen. Not these guys over here, but just pretty much everything on this side of the cursor. We're going to wipe it all out, and we'll capture Moscow. And that'll be a sub-game. I'm not going to play the whole game all the way through, whereby you kill every last Russian unit you can catch, and you take Stalingrad, and you finally get a plus score down there. See that minus 120? That's also part of the engine to make sure you lose. And you also suffer terribly from winter and terrain effects, and the Russians don't suffer any of these effects. Their units are just fine. In wintertime, your units, of course, will lose half of their strength or more and become easy targets. So the trick is to straighten the line out before wintertime, pull all the mobile equipment out of the line, and make sure that there's nothing but a straight offset infantry line that'll look just like this one down here. It'll look just like this line right here. And we really don't, this is kind of well, it's kind of overload for infantry. It should be spaced out like these guys right here. Just like that right there. That's the ideal line when you're stretching all the way down here. But we're going to leave a few infantry down here, this air unit and one tank unit. So if we were to, what we actually would do is after we've destroyed Moscow and all that, we'll use these guys to push forward eventually. And then link up with the tank army, which would be pushing south up here. Normally what happens is all these tank units will amass around here. I'll push them all the way back here and wait for the last Russian reserve to show up, and then in one big fell swoop we try to surround them all and destroy as many of them as we can and win the game. And it's possible to win the game. I've done it before. Just haven't done it in a long time. But you can see how this is going to work. You can see the center line here is broken. That means there's no communication. These units will stay dug in until they're surrounded, and then they'll go into entrenchment mode. Now I'll wipe them all. Well, we'll wipe them all out. So there you are. You can see how this is going to work. How we pulled all the units out here. I really didn't show the first couple of turns how to do all this. I guess I could do that too, but I have a video that's already out there that shows basically how I did that. But all this really is a rearrangement on turn 1. Pulling everything out, backing it up, and trying to straighten up the line and bringing all the tanks up. See, because everything was kind of stretched out over here. There's everything was committed. So what I wanted to do was straighten out the line, pull all the major units out, and then coordinate them into one area where I can use them to really hurt the Russians. You can see this is a pretty nice little army I got going here. Lots of tanks, lots of aircraft, infantry. Anyway, we'll get back to this later. Maybe I'll finish it up. Maybe not. We'll see. Anyway, hope you like this. It's a pretty hairy war game. It's designed, if you look at the instruction guide, everything says you're going to lose. You're not supposed to win this. Okay, anyway, I'm done for right now. We'll see you soon. Okay, here we are a few turns later. This is pretty much what I said I wanted to do, how it should look. You can see that Leningrad is cut off, and very low combat efficiency. These guys are certainly smashed. Most of the Russian armies over here are all gone, all destroyed, none of them got away. See, Moscow's been taken, and we have a lot of tanks all around here. Polish off this mob here, and straighten the line out. You can see we're starting to do that now, putting pressure on the line. We're just going to push it back until it's straight. We'll straighten it out with infantry here. You can see we're starting to push infantry forward. And we'll pull all the tanks back behind that line. I might do that. I might attack these guys here a little bit more before these guys get across the river. And then pull the whole thing back here. Set the infantry defense line, wait winter. And you can see down here in the south, we do the same thing. A small amount of attacking with some infantry units here, just a little down this mob of Russian infantry and cavalry. In the background, you can see there's more reinforcements that are returning up. There's some more from there. Stalingrad, and here's some more Russian reinforcements here. And you can see as you go up, there's a lot of them that are starting to pile in. Anyway, I just wanted to throw this in just to show you that this is what you want to try to achieve here. And the main thing here is this line. It has to extend all the way up past Moscow, all the way to here, and all of the tanks and the aircraft have to be assembled back here in a large unit, and after winter has subsided, then you start moving all of your tanks and great horde through here, and you start to descend on the Russians. All the way back here and capture these towns, and keep moving your infantry and your tanks down here. So finally the whole Russian army is surrounded by these units here. And then you just will be behind them, which will be the tank army that you assemble up here. And the leftover infantry and whatnot from the Leningrad attack. All these infantry units will be free, and they'll be able to assist you from down here. And you swing around, and you have to wait until all the Russian reinforcements have arrived, and then you launch your major attack. Ooh, please excuse me, damn God, cold's killing me. I'm sorry about that. At any rate, you see what I would do here, and how this would work. And also down here, you can use these units to link up as your main tank army moves down south here. You can link up with these guys. Everything will be completely surrounded. And you slowly vice grip them together by moving this army forward, because all the Russians here will by then be surrounded, and they'll be out of their combat efficiency will be cut down to nothing. You can just sweep them away, push them down into a great big sack here in the middle. There'll be nothing left of them, and you knock them all up, and the war is completely over. At any rate, right now the war would be over, because Leningrad's going to fall, and Moscow's already fallen, so technically the war would be over. But you see what we would do in the long run, we would just surround the entire Russian army and wipe it out, and take most of the cities all the way down to where we started, which would be at the bottom of the map down here. We would eventually capture what's this over here, Krasnodar, and hopefully we could even take Stalingrad. Okay, well there we are. That's how this game's played, and how I play it, not how it's played. That's my version of the game. You can see that you only have 47 units, so you have to use them very wisely. Every time you lose one, it's really, really, really bad. And I don't think we lost one yet, so that's good for us. And we've wiped out a lot of Russians. But we have to get the score down here at the lower left-hand corner. It has to actually read plus at the end of the game. So that's something where you can technically win here according to the rules. You have a plus score when the game ends. And there we are. We're all done. Just wanted to show you guys how this crazy game is played. And it's very complex. Takes a lot of thought and a lot of concentration to win. Anyway, we'll see you again. Maybe we'll post more terms if you want to see some, let me know. And we'll run through some deeper parts of the game, show you how we play the end game and all that. Well, we'll see. Anyway, you take it easy. We'll see you soon.